What I think will happen, what I'm hoping will happen, is to some people a spider pit might be quite a bit worse than a fire pit. Just imagine that it's not. Right? Yes.
That's one of the subjective opinions we talked about.
Fine. Light spiky pit, like the spikes are only an inch sharp, so you can see. So it doesn't kill you; it just hurts. Okay, but anyway, what I hope will happen is the same thing that happened during the the Obama presidency, where a bunch of well-meaning liberals who are tired of Bush/Trump will all come up behind this new Democrat, leader, and they'll quite quickly and quite sharply be disappointed by their ineffectuousness, by their dishonesty, by their unwillingness to really challenge the people who are responsible for the problems with this country, and they get disillusioned and they move further left. That's what happened during Obama's presidency. We got 8 years of Obama, the big progressive Obama. Hope change. What did he do? Well, really, really not much, like at all. Not with his time, not with the power that he had. We got a heritage plan, healthcare. We got a heritage plan, or a Heritage Foundation healthcare plan. We got a pretty good Iran deal. Credit where credit's due.
Sure.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that one. We got some drone strikes. That was cool. A lot of deportations. That was also cool. A lot of people were disappointed. And then 2016 rolls around and Bernie Sanders nearly takes it from Hillary Clinton. Out of nowhere.
It moves the conversation from like, well, healthcare is just unpractical. There's just no way we're going to get it done to like everyone running on some version of universal healthcare platform in 2020.
Yeah,
so like
out of nowhere. He was nothing. He was nobody before that. He was an independent senator from Vermont. Yeah, and he showed up and he nearly took it from Hillary Clinton, the redheaded stepchild of the Democratic establishment, out of nowhere. And you know what happens in 2020? You know what happens this election season? Because everyone's so terrified of Trump, Bernie does worse. The country's as a whole has been pushed farther left, but Bernie does worse because liberals aren't willing to gamble another Trump presidency on a high-risk candidate like Bernie Sanders. They go for something safer. 58% of people who voted for Joe Biden did so on electability. So, clearly, the presence of Trump as a threat is preventing people from moving further left. You give them a Joe Biden, you give them some more disappointment, you give them another 4 years to stew in frustration as he does nothing. I think that in 2024, we have a shot at a really strong left-leaning contender.
And it's not just the it's that's why on Three Right Turns I try to emphasize the local and state because one of the reasons you could say that Obama was ineffectual is because there's only so much a president can do. He's got the bully pulpit, he's got executive orders. But if you don't have a Senate behind you, if you got a divided House, then it's hard to make progress. So
that's true.
But I think that's
what he did that pissed me off the most. All the things Obama did.
What's that?
It was the judicial appointment near the end of his last term, when the Republican Senate refused to confirm because they said he was a lame duck president, even though he had like 11 months left. He should have just appointed them and said that they were engaging in dereliction of duty. This is something the Republicans are going to keep doing, by the way. They're going to do it with Biden too. Just a flat, objective obstruction of governance. That high road shit doesn't work with them, and I think it's set a very bad standard too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot more radical in what I would like our politicians to do legally. If we're concerned that we've lost a judiciary, pack the courts. Well, what if the Republicans do it? Well, they did.
Yeah,
they're open vacancies, including the Supreme Court, and they stacked it in a legal way that they could do, and no one gave a shit about. So, why don't we try it? And then, if there's a bunch of uproar and outrage, then we can have those intellectual discussions amongst ourselves and this. But the idea that we're not going to do it because if we do, the Republicans might do it worse. That seems like someone had slept through the first few.
The
parts
Republicans will do anything.
Trying to join the discussion. Yeah,
absolutely anything. It's like being in a fight with somebody and they draw a knife and you have a knife and you're like, well, if I draw my knife, they might use their knife on me as they're stabbing you to death. The Republicans, they don't care. One of the most important characteristics of a functioning democracy is forbearance. The idea that a party will not use their power should they win to influence the next set of elections, to influence the respective odds. The Republican Party doesn't practice forbearance. So if we practice forbearance, what we're essentially doing is handicapping ourselves. There's no reason why we should do that. If democracy is broken, it's not our fault. They started it. We're only letting them win by refusing to participate in the broken system that they have created.
I also think, I don't know if you agree with me on this or not too, that like I also think that broadly speaking, some of these ideas aren't as popular as they should be. And like I feel like sometimes as leftists we assume that like everybody, all liberals are for Medicare for all, when you go down into polling and it's like I think some of this is just like we have to do a better job advancing the arguments and winning over especially people like myself who live in these areas where I have family who's very conservative still, friends are conservatives, neighbors, the place I live, to have those conversations, to not withdraw into our circles, but like, go out there and evangelize, Medicare for all. Go out there and evangelize the Green New Deal. Nancy Pelosi, I shared this image on my Twitter feed about, she made some dismissive thing about the Green New Vision or whatever, and it's juxtaposed against California on fire. These are like they're ideas that are popular in the sense that like when people hear them and understand them, like defund the police is a term that's not extraordinarily popular, but the actual policy behind it is very popular. And we can go out there and have those conversations and make them more popular. Do our part, because
our ideas are good. They're good ideas. They are. That's why Republicans focus so much on this culture war nonsense.